Hello, world. So, I've been letting the limited perspective of other human beings diminish my self-worth lately, and my willingness to joyfully share my light, and I'm sick of it. I made some interesting decisions recently, like the past couple months on my path, and before these decisions were made, I was just allowing myself to just be myself and to feel safe doing so. And if I didn't feel safe, I stepped up anyway, selflessly, to create the safe space for others. And I haven't been doing that lately because I've been just believing limitations to be the truth of who I am. And I've been learning a lot about Eastern philosophy. I heard a quote yesterday. It wasn't based in Eastern philosophy, just philosophy in general. But they said philosophy is about evaluating that which you take for granted. And one thing I've noticed about the path to enlightenment, to/of, because it continues to be the path even once you're enlightened, is that it's really important to remain kind and compassionate. Because as much as you can think that you know exactly what someone's going through, you really don't. And it's important to hold them in that space of compassion and kindness. And before learning about Eastern philosophy, I used a lot of words like life path, life purpose, soul purpose, things of that nature. In Eastern philosophy, they call it dharma. And there's this saying that I've heard said that it's not the place of anyone to speak on someone else's dharma or to judge their dharma. And there tends to be this judgment in the spiritual community that I've noticed, where people become enlightened, or they glimpse it, they taste it, and then they start to believe that it looks a certain way. When confusion or annoyance or disharmony arises within the enlightened being or the spiritual seeker, it's really easy to conclude and to blame the other person for that discomfort that you're feeling inside yourself. But I think especially as a teacher, it's incredibly important to remember that if we're all one, I think we need to hold others in a view of compassion always. And not through judgment. I got an insight in meditation today where I was shown that as beings, we're all, let's say, oh my God, sorry, I'm allergic to my cats. And when I'm talking about spiritual stuff, my senses get more sensitive. Anyway, all of us are beings. And let's say our consciousness is this circle. And we exist within this. Even conceptually. So let's say another human shows up and maybe Maybe their circle, it's not about whose circle is bigger, that's not what it's about. But let's say that because of where they're standing, they're over here, your circle's here, their circle's here. So in order to get to them, you have to go to the very edge of your circle. And notice the natural curve the circle has. So if you don't expand your circle to encompass them, then what's going to happen is your ego is going to spin the truth, and you're going to try to spin them up into your truth instead of the truth. And as a teacher and a bodhisattva, it's of paramount importance to constantly expand the circumference of your circle to encompass each and every student and to embody the truth selflessly for them. Or to just be their friend and to stand next to them and to give them love and compassion and to know that you do not have the skill to teach them that thing, and to be humble enough to know that, and to not allow your own inability to properly express the truth in a way that encompasses them with compassion, to thwart your own values. It's so easy to get caught up in our own opinions on what right perpetuation is, and then to project that on others. But the truth is what's right for one is not going to be right for another. And there is no one right way. And that's integral in the essence of right understanding, and therefore right action, right follow through, right embodiment. And I've been learning this in a pretty turbulent way, to be honest. But I'm showing up for myself, and that's what matters. And at this point, I long to feel worthy. Worthy of my light. So if I could say anything to anybody who's listened this long, it's that don't let someone else's perspective on what is right diminish you. Do not let someone else's lack of understanding of who you are cause you to love yourself less. Go beyond their understanding of self. And forgive them. They know not what they do. Namaste.